Do I look like a gardener to you? I am a better, I am not a gardener. Hedging is for gardens. How does your garden grow?
With plus money.
With plus us money. Hedging is for gardens.
Well, welcome aboard, everyone, to Betting Weekly Live. It's Thursday, the 17th of July. It's the first day of the Open Championship Golf. You with Steve Wiss, and delighted as ever to be joined by Nigel Seeley. I've not done a show with you for a long time, Nigel.
Oh, no, mate. I've been busy with Wimbledon, lots of stuff on the tennis. So, I haven't really been following much of the football. I've had a sort of football off period. So, I'll be watching the shows and watching all you guys cashing tickets. So, yeah, it's good to be back with you, mate. Football season's, we'll be back to our normal shows in a few weeks from now. Looking forward to the football season. So, yeah, it's good to be back. And I was supposed to be on tomorrow. I was supposed to be going away for the weekend, but my dog is still not very well. So we have to cancel our trip, hence the reason why I'm on today. So, yeah, looking forward to speaking. I mean, hopefully you can guide me in some route on this Europa Conference League, because I don't even know half the teams in it. So I'm interested to see your take on that. But I might give you a couple of tennis winners later on. So all about teamwork.
Even I don't know some of the teams involved here, Nigel. That's how obscure we are at the level with the Conference League. But so many matches on. Put your best bets in chat. Sorry about your dog, Nigel. Hope it gets well soon.
Thank you.
But welcome into all Byron Muriel. That is actually exactly a bet that I'm going to have in the Celje game. I do like the over there as well. Ming Chun, good to see you. Dave Clark, Harry Doherty as well. Villa fan. Tristan, Brad Betts, good to see you. The welcome music has to be the best in the business. It's really catchy, isn't it? It really is. I do like some of the themes.
Do you remember the first time we got sent the clips for the music? And we were like, this won't work. This is weird. But fair play to Bet Rivers. They knew exactly what would work. And everybody gets talking about the music. We want to release an album, 12 tracks of your favorite Because We Win album tracks, down for downloads on Spotify. But I thought to myself, these are never going to work. But they actually come quite catchy. Gets you in the mood. It gets you going.
Some are really catchy. I tend to associate certain tracks with certain guests as well. Kind of get your own track. I'll put the Spanish one on for Rory Barlow, stuff like that. Hedging one for you. Not heard that in a while. No one else can come on with a hedging one apart from you. But yeah, Open Golf Championship. I mean, I know you do kind of follow golf a little bit, Nigel. Yeah. We had a great show yesterday with Neil and Simon, and I'll tell you what, there's more offers on Bet Rivers. They had a brilliant profit boost pre-tournament. And now there's a profit boost for in-play bets, potentially up to 50%. All you have to do is log into your account and place live bets on the Open Championship. You could get a profit boost of up to 50%. At the minute, Scotty Scheffler's the favourite to win the Open Championship, plus 220. Matt Fitzpatrick, 10-1. Rory McIlroy, 10-1. I've been watching it on and off all day. The last I saw on my screen was Bryson DeChambeau hacking out from the rough, which was quite an interesting sight. But Scotty Scheffler seems to be an absolute monster. When I went to pick up the kids, he was -1. I come back 10 minutes later, he's -3. He's a machine.
Yeah, incredible. And he's the plus 220 in-play favourite now with Bet Rivers to win the Open Championship. I think with Scotty Scheffler, he needs the weather to be calm. And Sunday looks like it's going to be a calm day. If it's a calm day and he's even touching distance, you know that Scotty Scheffler can burn this course up. I think the Open is very... I mean, I watched the show yesterday. It was a brilliant show. Those guys know a lot more than golf than I do. But I've been around tradie rooms on final days of Open Championship. I very much got my fingers burnt once on the Van der Velde when he won the Open, showing my age. I backed him in play in the third round, and everyone in the office backed Paul Lawrie, and I was the only one that didn't come through. Because what you got to do in the Open Championship, you have one eye on the weather forecast. So the weather forecast is just as important as what you're seeing on the course, because the people who get the ideal conditions of the good weather and the bad weather, it changes massively. A big advantage for early starters and late starters, and obviously in the Open, if there's a congested field and there's bad weather later on in the day and the wind gets up, the people who post a good score in the final round are the ones you want to bet in play. So as a tradition at the Open Championship, I very, very rarely do bet anybody before the tournament is played. Before we get in play, usually get involved on the Saturday or the Sunday for those weather reasons and who gets the luck of the pairings. But I did bet Tyrrell Hatton. He was my pick on the Betting Weekly Insider last week, and I did bet Tyrrell Hatton at 33-1 pre-tournament because I think he's got an Open Championship which got a major in him, and I think this is his time. He's going well, doing okay on Live Tour. A lot of people like Rahm, Scotty Scheffler's going to be in it, but if you look at the leaderboard, I mean, we're in for a fascinating. You always get these not saying no hopers, but these shot first round leaders in the Open and they fade away. But you've got Fitzpatrick up there, former US Open champion, Scotty Scheffler. Lee Westwood's always good in the Open Championship. Sergio Garcia, always good in majors. You've got Tyrrell Hatton, Victor Hovland, John Rahm, Sam Burns. I mean, Lowry, and they're all just hanging around at minus money. So at minus on their scores. And it's going to be fascinating over the next 3 or 4 days. But I very rarely bet until I get to the Saturday or the Sunday. But on this occasion, I have bet Tyrrell Hatton. And I was speaking to Simon Holden this afternoon. And I thought the weather was going to get bad this afternoon. Later on this afternoon, I thought the wind was going to get up and the conditions were going to go really hard. And I was contemplating betting Scotty Scheffler. I know it's ridiculous to say at plus 220 in Open Championship, but I thought if the weather got up again and he had already posted a good score, one off the lead, and the conditions on course were tough, then that was ruled out the likes of Rory and other players. But it looks as though the weather and the wind is still blustery slightly, but there's no rain and it's not as heavy as what it was. So, but what it's going to be a fascinating weekend of sport and the Open Championship. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I mean, the weather forecast, like you say, is very important, and it's actually quite hard to predict anyway around the coastal areas. I think tomorrow the wind is up, certainly till about 1 p.m, then the wind goes down, but the rain comes. So it's like, pick your poison. What do you want? I suppose you'd always rather have less wind, in fairness. But, these guys at the top of the leaderboard, they're Jacob Skov Olsen. He's been backed at 500 to 1. By one particular bettor, also at 75 to 1.
I missed that, Mrs. Olsen.
Matt Fitzpatrick, someone's had a sizable wager on him to be first round leader at 25 to 1, could win nearly $8,000. So, he's holding on to it. Wouldn't be a full winner, but it would be certainly a decent 3-way split if it stays that way. There's plenty of action. People have been backing Lee Westwood. People have been backing Matt Jordan at 350 to 1. So there's always someone out there.
It's the Open Championship, and we've had some real big shot winners at the Open Championships over the years. Todd Hamilton, Ben Curtis, they were like 400, 500 to 1. You don't get that at the Masters; it's very rare. But to get those shot winners, you do need the weather. And tomorrow looks like it's going to be a bad day, but Sunday looks fair. And if it's fair, the best golfers in the world make a charge, and the best golfer in the world currently is Scotty Scheffler. And even at plus 225, I think if he's in touching distance, he's the man to beat, obviously.
I mean, he wasn't even at his best earlier. I think he hit 2 out of 9 fairways, plus 220. Put in chat if you're going to back Scotty Scheffler at plus 220 to win the Open Championship in play. And remember, you can get up to a 50% profit boost with Bet Rivers in play with the Open Championship. Just looking through some more comments now. William Jenner, good to see you as well. He's looking forward to the Lionesses match. We're going to talk about that one soon. England against Sweden in the Euros. Shakhtar making 9 changes from the first leg. 6-0 up. I've got no interest in that game, Dave. When a team is so far ahead, I rarely get involved in the second leg there. Just looking through some other comments. Mike, welcome into you. Betting Weekly Live at 11 a.m. Eastern is often soccer-based. Yesterday it was golf-based, but we have loads of other shows like Betting a Weekly Tennis Live, Betting Weekly Fast Break, and Hardball, which come up at various different intervals during the day. Just a final piece of information which producer Troy gave me. Scotty Scheffler has been backed by 14.3% of the outright money and nearly 10% of the tickets. So it would not be a good outcome for Bet Rivers likely if Scotty Scheffler did win the tournament. It wouldn't be good for any sportsbook. Nigel, would it? When the
favourites win it, and he's got that kind of sort of Tiger Woods feel about him now, hasn't he? He's got not going off as short as Tiger Woods did it, but he's so far clear. Just reading some of the comments there. Firstly, it was an upgrade having Steve to do the show. It was good. I loved it. I enjoyed watching it. Very, very good. And I think Harry Doherty says to me, Nigel, why do you support QPR? Well, Harry, it was the only team I could spell when I was a kid. So QPR.
That's a funny one. Let's move on to, actually, while we're here, Betting Weekly Insider. That will be released into your inbox tomorrow for those who have signed up to it. It's completely free. There's 2 newsletters a week. The picks that were given out on Monday's newsletter were profitable overall. I do believe, Nigel.
We had a winning tennis bet at plus 135. We had a
Jack Wright.
Jack Wright had a winner, and we had one other match. I think we're slightly in profit on the newsletter. We're behind on the insider because there's much more picks, and everyone has to give a pick, so we're slightly behind. But tomorrow's one looks good. I looked at tomorrow's one. It's a preview of the Usyk fight, the Usyk Dubois fight. Lots of other action as well, UFC stuff in there as well, and some futures as well across European football as well. So it's good.
Yeah, I think it's the French League One preview. James Eastham has been working with alongside Paul Hughes there. I think he's got some interesting thoughts on Paris FC, who've been newly promoted into a French top flight this season. Watch out for them. And there is, of course, loads of soccer matches on today. We haven't got anything underway just yet. Actually, sorry, just a match has started in Latvia between two teams that I can't pronounce. But I've gone through the card. I certainly can't go through everything. But Europa League, only two matches catch my eye today. Celje against Sabah. Those might recognise Celje. They were in the Conference League last year, had a decent run. All their matches just seem to always go over. And last week was no exception, 3-2 win. So I just think the straight over to 2.5 goals at minus 150 is worth betting here. You could go on the Asian line, 2.75. I think Byron put it right at the top of the show. Totally agree with him. And the other match that I put on for the Europa League qualification is Hapoel Sheva, the Israeli team, against Levski Sofia. Now, the key thing to mention here is that we played at a neutral venue in Hungary, at a stadium I've never heard of, and I'm definitely not even going to try and pronounce. But I'm really surprised that the Israeli side are minus money favourites in this instance. I think drawing a bet on Levski Sofia at plus 180 could be worth a nibble here, simply because, like I say, it's so difficult for these Israeli sides having to constantly play on neutral territory. And last week this is a tight game. There's not much in it, and I wouldn't have them. Would not have an Israeli team they're not even at home on neutral territory at minus 113. Levski Sofia, a seasoned campaigner in Europe. So those are the only two that stood out to me in Europa League. Do put in the chat if you are taking anything else in that particular competition. There's only 8 matches overall. A couple of people, like they said, there's some walkovers already. Shakhtar are 6-0 up, Sheriff are 4-0 up. I think someone else is well up in their tie as well. So, do you ever get involved in second legs when a team's won 6-0, 4-0, Nigel? I
would always probably, statistically, I'm not quite sure what the statistics would be, but my tendency would be to get with the team that lost 6-0 with the start if they're underdogs plus 1.5, or get them with the draw no bet if they're favourites, because the team that's 6-0 up will rest everybody and not be at it. I don't know if there's any statistics to back that up, but certainly from the market shift, the market always wants to be with the team that have, or the shrewd market wants to be with the team that have lost the heavy defeat. And I remember doing the statistics on the big defeats in the Premier League. I remember going back on the Premier League show a couple of years ago, on the back of, if you look at the Premier League, the last 20 matches, the biggest 20 heaviest defeats in the Premier League, so the team's got 7-0, 8-0. That team the following week, or 9-0 the following week, somewhere like 17 of the 20, their following match cashed on under 2.5 goals because they just worked on the defence and they didn't want to embarrass themselves.
Pride, isn't it?
So, yeah, and that would be the trend that I would come into it. I think that it's recreational bettors or smaller bettors would put them in thinking, well, they've won 6-0 and not really think of, well, they could be resting players. But I would guess if you looked at the Asian money lines, it would always be a move for the team that suffered the defeat.
Yeah, I mean, this Ilves game against Shakhtar made 9 changes, 6-0 up, Ilves plus 475, the Finnish side. That was the big story last Thursday, of course. It was one of the worst ever nights Finland's had. The Finnish teams have had. They lost combined 12-1 on aggregate in the 3 matches. Looked like, I mean, they may well lose 3 teams today and only have 1 side remaining in the whole of Europe, which at this early stage would be absolutely ridiculous. But speaking of the Finnish teams, HJK Helsinki, the biggest club in Finland by miles, lost 4-0 away to a Faroese amateur team last week. I think HJK here will hit back. They have to. Whether or not they overturn a 4-0 deficit, I don't know. But for me, HJK Helsinki, are worth backing on the three-way handicap here, starting 0-1. It's effectively the same as taking a -1.5 on the Asian line. It's at -141. Just needing to win by 2 goals or more. They should comfortably win against Faroese amateurs. It was a nightmare for them in that first leg. The red card was involved. So for me, SJK Helsinki are worth backing today. That top match there, Santa Coloma against Borac Banja Luka. Santa Coloma won 4-1 in the first leg away from home as a 33-1 underdog. Team from Andorra. Borac Banja Luka was something like -3 Asian favourites. Again, I think the quality here from Borac Banja Luka will shine in the second leg. Whether or not they can overturn a 4-1 lead, I don't know. But -127 on the money line here. They really should be going to Andorra and beating this side on the night on the money line and trying to put right the wrongs of last week. The bottom game there, Pyunik against...
Just quite interesting. Just that quite interests me. Just looking from them, if you put that graphic back up, John, if you could do there, that quite interests me. The total goal line there, you got a team at -400, you've got a team at -5,000. The outsiders are 45, and the outsiders at 7. But the goal line is exactly the same, 3.5. Obviously, they're a different line. Over is -152 here and +102. But the price differential between the favourite at -400 and a favourite at -5,000 and an underdog at 4,500 and 700, you would think that would definitely make at least one move on the goal line.
Well, yeah. I mean, the bottom game there, Pyunik against Tre Fiori. It was another huge shock last week. The team from San Marino actually beat Pyunik 1-0. I think they got outshot 26-2 or something like that. It was a complete fluke. But
26-2, and they create them that many amount of chances, and they're now -5,000 at home. Surely 3.5 plus money. Got to be.
Yeah, it should be an absolute complete avalanche of goals here. The bet that I actually like is corners over 9.5. This Pyunik team created a lot of chances last week, couldn't score, but racked up a lot of corners. If they are poor in front of goal again, the same thing will probably happen. Even if they win 4-5-0, the corners probably will rack up. 9.5 is quite a low goal line, corner line. I mean, for the handicap's like -3.5, 3.25. You probably would be better off taking the goals, actually, wouldn't you? Rather than
I just think that's. I mean, I couldn't tell you one end of SJK to Pyunik or I'm listening to you but I'm just looking at purely from an odds perspective there. Yeah. You know, a difference, that huge difference, but the goal line is exactly the same. You would think that the probability of the outsiders not contributing to a goal would be one of the reasons why. But if they've got a chase to win in their 1-0 deficit, over 3.5 about a team at -5,000, they could probably cover that line themselves.
Yeah, a team from San Marino did score on Tuesday, so you never know, do you? We might see something there. Just the 3 other games I did want to talk about: Klaksvik against SJK. I said it last week. Klaksvik were a big price away from home and they won. The best team in the Faroe Islands by a million miles. These are a decent side. I think they're better than anything from Finland right now, and they proved it last week. I think taking them straight up again on the money line here, -175 for KI is worth it. I think they're going to show their quality and class against what is effectively a mid-table Finnish side, and the Finnish league has not really shown a lot of form this year in these qualifiers so far. So I wouldn't even think twice about Klaksvik. I do rate them quite highly. They didn't win their league last year. I don't know what went wrong, but they're miles clear this year so far. They're not a bad side in the Scandinavian regions. Petroclub against Birkirkara. I put this up. This is a Moldovan side against Maltese opposition. A surprising win for Birkirkara last week. So Petroclub need to respond. They made the group stage of Conference League last year. Quite a seasoned campaigner in Europe. And they really should be winning the second leg at the bare minimum, taking it to extra time. So, again, -157 looks a good price there. Dinamo Brest against Sutjeska. I actually like the dog here, Sutjeska. They lost the first leg 2-1, so they've got to come here and win. But they dominated the contest. I watched a bit of this game last week on the stream, and Sutjeska were not that bad. I'm just having a little bit of pizza money on at +360 here. They have to win the game. Doesn't mean they will. But I think Dynamo Brest are overrated from what I saw last week, and the metrics would back it up. put your best bets in chat here. There's loads coming through. Brad Betts Footy, good to see you. He mentions that the Faroese sides have been better than expected. It's an improving league. They're absolutely mad on soccer up there, Brad. The national team isn't really getting that much better, but the actual domestic teams are. KI, another team that made the group stage of the Conference League. Really do rate them. They're a good price last week. Going through some of the comments as well. Just look. RHM. Yes, I remember last week you were asking whether to hedge or not. And I'm glad that you cashed your $70,000 ticket on the sixth fold, I think you had. So congratulations there.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it was great.
Hear the theme tune in this song. Hedging is for gardeners. Don't cash out. That's the motto.
But I think the two matches that he was asking advice on last week, James was, I think, as well. It was the Sheriff game and the Shakhtar game, and they won 6-0 and 4-0 respectively. So I'm pretty glad that I said let it ride rather than hedge on that. Women's Euros, really big game coming up today. Lots of comments in the chat about this match already. Sweden women against England women. Plus 128 on England women, who started the competition with a poor defeat. Everyone seemed to be on their backs. There has been a big improvement. Nice side of the draw as well for England women. Plus 128 in 90 minutes, Nigel. These lionesses are starting to gain a bit more momentum again.
Yeah, that horrible word, momentum. Do you use momentum? Do you think momentum is a good thing? Is there such a thing as momentum in sports betting? I'm not so sure. I just think that you're good teams and you hit your peaks and you hit your lows. It's a major tournament. England started slow. England men's national team has started slow in major tournaments throughout the history and got to finals. Never won anything, but they got to finals, got to semi-finals, gone deep. But they lost to a very, very good France side, a very, very good technical side. The surprise package is probably of the tournament so far. They didn't win the group, and there was probably the fact that France didn't win the group, probably because of the fact they may be looking at it thinking, well, opportunity missed there. But England are just peaking right at the right time. Looking good. The most encouraging thing for England bettors is that in the 6-1 win against Wales, which was they were so much better than Wales in every department. 6 different goal scorers. I think they've got one of the best players in the tournament in Lauren James, who is exceptional. She's not even in the graphic there to score tonight or the first goal, but she's England's top goal scorer in this championship. She scored obviously in the 6-1-2 in the match before as well. They had to win. And in the World Cup, the last World Cup, she was the best player in the World Cup. But outside the Spanish, the Spanish are just different class. She was the best English player. She was probably the best player in the tournament at that particular stage. I actually bet her at 33-1 to win the BBC Sports Personality of the Year. And then the next game, she got sent off. And she did like a David Beckham moment where she got down to like literally from 33-1. She went down to something like 3-1 favourite to win it, and then she got sent off. But I think I think there's goals. I think there's goals in the match. If you look at the great win for Sweden last time out against a German side. Sweden are very direct. They put the balls out to the wingers, put the crosses in the ball. They try to get the ball in early to the big centre forward. And I think there's goals in it. England conceding a goal against Wales. I know it was when the game was over. Isn't great for them. It was a good thing for Wales, but it was a bit. They will take that as a bad point. And England, where their weakness is their defence. And I'm not quite sure about the goalkeeper. To be fair, the goalkeeping standards in women's football is probably the weakest area of the whole game. If you look at goalkeeping, it's probably the weakest part of the whole game. Again, the Spanish girls is superb, but the goalkeeping is the weakest area. So I think this could be quite an end-to-end match. I think there's goals in it. I like England to win it and both teams to score. If you're looking for a prop, I like Lauren James to have more than 1.5 shots. 1.5 shots on target. She can have a shot on target. She's heavy minus money, but you can obviously ladder it up and go 1.5. But she takes all of England's free kicks, majority of England's free kicks. She's plays in a much more advanced position, and I think that she will revel in this tonight. She's had lots of shots in the last 2 matches, scored 3 goals in the last 2 matches, and I quite like her to score at any time. She is she would bear with us. I saw it earlier. She currently is I can't find it now. I've got she's the fifth favourite, full favourite for England to score tonight, plus 245. Beth Mead, I'm not quite sure, will play. She's the fifth favourite. Aggie Beaver Jones, I'm not quite sure, will play. Alessia Russo will start, but she's the favourite, plus 295. Chloe Kelly will start, she's plus 440. But Lauren James, set pieces, everything from attack-minded comes from her. I think she's England's best player. And tonight, I think she would be my value play at plus 245 to score at any time. And I like in a game where I expect goals. So I'm going to go for England to win and both teams to score would be the way I play it. And if you're looking for a prop, get involved with Lauren James. Obviously, her brother Reece just won the Club World Cup for Chelsea. And it could be a good week for the James family. And I think she's England's best player. And when she's on it, she's hard to stop. And, I think she's getting better and better like the England team. So Lauren James for me tonight in an England win, probably go for something like 2-1, 3-1 England, but I do expect a few goals.
79% of the money is on England, 72% of the tickets. In terms of over-under, we've got most of the money on the over, 77% of it. This match is played at Letzigrund in Zurich. The first quarterfinal was won by Italy. They're the first team into the semi-finals. We've got two more games to come up tomorrow. Spain against Switzerland in Bern. France, Germany as well.
Switzerland 25-1 to win that. So Spain. I think Spain
minus 139 to win it.
I think Spain took what they were. Yeah, I think. Well, minus 139 a little bit short, but I think Spain will. They're going to play France in the semi-finals, which is a tough match, but they should be able to get past them. And then in the final, they've got history against England, and they're a better team, arguably, than the team that won the World Cup. So I think they're just in a league of their own at the moment, and the prices, I think, are a little bit disrespectful to them. I think the English is taking up a heavy market because obviously Arsenal won the Champions League, but it's made up of a lot of teams outside of England. The English league is strong. The English players are well known. Betting public bet England probably more than anybody else. But I think if you looked at technically on the two sides, the Spanish are a lot better than England. England will have a fighter's chance, but I would expect it to be England-Spain final. But I think I bet them at minus 110. I think Spain win this.
Yeah, Lewis Jones was on the show a week or two
Lewis
ago.
James, you was going to say Lauren James was on the show there. I thought you should say.
And he said lump on Spain plus 125. A class above the rest. There's a house special in this game. England to score in both halves versus Sweden at plus 225. Would you be having that one, Nigel?
Probably yes. I think it's goals. I think I probably would bet that. The Swedish side are on a good run. I mean, they're in good run. They had a brilliant win 4-1, but the last time they met against England won 4-0, but it was like a few years back. But I would argue that the English team are a lot better then. And obviously Sweden, I don't think they're as good as they were because at the time they were the leaders in European football, in women's football. All the other nations have caught up. But I think they'll make it tough for England. But I think England's quality, and you've got to remember as well, England have got some proper players to come off the bench and change it around. Their squad is, outside the Spanish, is the best in this tournament. They've got players who could come into any position. Beth Mead is a player who was exceptional when they won the tournament. She could come on from the bench, 4 years ago. She could come off the bench and make a huge difference. So I think England will win it. Both teams to score, yes, and a big night for Lauren James.
All right, we're going to switch over to some tennis. There's a real mix of events on worldwide this week. Some interesting locations. Where shall we start, Nigel? Shall we start Europe or in Mexico?
Let's start in Mexico.
Let's start in Mexico then.
Yeah.
Los Cabos.
Yeah.
Here's the outright market winner, Andrei Rublev at plus 110. Shapovalov plus 270. Is there any value in this futures market right now?
Well, I mean, it's one of the worst tournaments you're going to see all year. I mean, Walton's the number 8 seed for this tournament, and he's ranked 97 in the world. So it's a tournament that if Andrei Rublev wants it and fancies it, I think he'll win it easy. But he's a couple of points away from a meltdown at any given time. If this was a tournament with a higher prestige other than the 250, like a 500 and this was the last 8, Rublev wouldn't be plus 110, it'd be minus 125. So Rublev, and he's like such a heavy favourite to win in the quarterfinals. So he's more or less going to be in the semis. Shapovalov is in dreadful form. I mean, they couldn't bet him as well. So yes, I think there is value, and I think it's Andrei Rublev at plus 110. he wants to. He's a player that always wants to be in the top 10 in the world. He's currently number 10, but just behind him is I think it's Francis Tiafoe, just behind him in the world rankings. So he wants to win this tournament to keep him in the top 10. I mean, he's a player that always wants to play, and he really wants to be. I've actually met him a few times, and he really wants to play tennis, and he wants to always get into the top 8 of the year to play in the year-end championship, the big money tournament. So motivation is he's not good enough to win a major. He's always going to get quarterfinals. He's never got to a semi-final of any major. He gets to get against the top 8, and then he just gets found wanting. He won the tournament in Monte Carlo a couple of years ago on clay, which was a brilliant result for him. But this is the kind of tournament I think he'd fancy, and I think at plus 110, if you look at his route to the final, I mean, it's Emilio Nava in the next round. Guy ranked 123. And then after that, I mean, he's got to play Kovacevic or Shapovalov. Oh, sorry. Yeah, probably Kovacevic or Shapovalov. I mean, it'll be a heavy favourite against them. And then in the final, sorry, he doesn't play. He plays Kovacevic in the semi-final. Kovacevic should be a heavy favourite. Then probably Shapovalov or someone else in the final. I mean, plus money, he's a bet. Yeah, he's a bet.
RHM, sorry, I missed your comment there. The only one I like out of those three that you mentioned is Lecce and under 4.5. I'm a bit concerned that Sheriff and Shakhtar won't even win. They're 6-0 up and 4-0 up. You don't need to get involved with them. They might win, and they might win handsomely, but they don't need to win. So I'm always a little bit wary there. So, good luck wherever you play. Lecce and under 4.5, I do quite like that one. Los Cabos matches then. Where should we start here?
Well, these are tonight, so these are all tonight.
Right.
Because they're late tonight in American. So I think Schoolkate Shapovalov starts at around about 10 p.m. local time, and then they go on through the night. So start off with Schoolkate Shapovalov. I mean, Denis Shapovalov is a player that it was awful at Wimbledon, absolutely awful. He got beat by Navoni, a clay court specialist 3-1, a very, very poor performance. He had a big win in the first round here against Govind Nandi. And everyone's going, oh, he's back. Shapovalov played really well. He did. He won 6-1, 6-2. But Nandi's ranked 405 in the world. So there's nothing really to about that. Schoolkate is a player I've actually watched in qualification. I've seen him come through. He's a big server. He's an Aussie. He's young. He's not rich, but not particularly young. He's about 24 by tennis standards, but he's just trying to get into the top 100. I think he'll give Shapovalov a bit of a match. He beat Altmaier in round 16, who's a decent player, who's rated about 50 places higher than him in the world rankings. And Schoolkate here, to me, would give him a challenge. I'm not quite sure if he can beat Shapovalov, but I do think over 22.5 games could be the way to go there. And also think over 10.5 set number one. That's going to be quite a competitive first set. What happens when you bet the 22.5? The first set can be a 7-5, 7-6 win for Shapovalov, and then the second set, the underdog could tank. That would be my concern. So maybe a small little interest at over 22.5, but certainly set number one to be overs. The next match, Walton against Duckworth. I mean, Duckworth is a journeyman. He's been around for absolutely years now. I've got to try to work out how old he is. I think he's about 33 now, 34 now. Anyway, he's been around for years. I saw him play Thomas Burditch at Queen's Club, and I was about, I can't know how old I was very, very, about 15 years ago now.
But he's 33.
Well, he's a journeyman. He's an absolute journeyman. He's been around for donkeys. He's up against Walton. These are two Aussie players playing against each other. One is a veteran. One is an up-and-coming kid. They've met 3 times before. Duckworth leads 2-1 in the heads. I think this is a marginal favourite for Walton, but Walton's never got this far in major in a 250s. This is a big tournament for him. Don't think there's much value in there. I don't think there's any value in Rublev Nava. I've said the best bet to do would be Rublev to win the tournament. And then the final match, Kovacevic against Ficovich. I mean, I don't know anything about Ficovich. I mean, he's an Argentinian. He's 148 in the world. He's done pretty much nothing on the main tour. He's been playing challenger events. He failed in qualification at Wimbledon. And you've got to remember, this is quite a quick surface. It's a hard court surface. So Kovacevic, you would expect to win that. So I can't see anything other than the 3 favourites. You've got Rublev, Walton, and Kovacevic. I would expect Shapovalov to win it, but I think that may be quite a tight first set. So first set overs there, maybe a little lean on 21.5 over, but Rublev to win the tournament plus 110.
Analytics Kappa, good to see you. Part of the team here at Because We Win over there on the fast break and the hardball shows. I hope you're doing really well. Adam Seymour, welcome in. The live Wimbledon draw was fantastic. Will you be doing something similar for the US Open?
Yes, we will, definitely. I mean, I was really surprised how many people watched that. I genuinely thought there'd probably be like the interest would be very minimal of us sitting there watching the draw, but it was staggering how many people joined us for that draw. We will be doing it, and we'll be doing it for every major. There's no doubt about it. Because what I liked about it was the journey of the tournament started from the draw and ended with the preview of the final. We sort of went on a journey throughout the 2 weeks together, and the views of the shows and the comments from the people for the Wimbledon coverage was absolutely incredible. You know, our record ever show was the final Sinner in the final against Alcaraz, and it started with this draw show. So yes, we will do that. Hopefully, we can find out a little bit of better value, because Jess Pegula was my value pick on the draw, and she got beaten in round 1. So I'm hoping to go a little bit better than that on my draw. But yes, we will be doing that for the US Open, and we'll be doing it for all the majors going forward.
Yeah, it was a brilliant show. Thanks everyone who has been watching. Recently, we hit the 10,000 subscriber mark. We want to get to 11,000 as soon as possible. If you're new to the channel or you still haven't hit the subscribe button, please do it. It would really help us out. Also, likes are very much appreciated. Matlock says, would you say Duckworth is the Roger Miller of tennis?
No, Stanislaus Wawrinka is the Roger Miller of the tennis world. I'm the Roger Miller of the tennis world. I've been around longer than Roger Miller. Matt was the guy. He said to me yesterday, "Give me a little bit of stick. You've got to give me a bit of credit." I said that Carly was a bit of value to beat. I can't remember. Avanesian, wasn't it today? I said that was a little bit of value at plus 135. I did say that was the bet. I'm on Zuma quite heavily, AC. I bet him singly at minus 125, and I bet him in a double with Carly to beat Avanesian. It was a daily double yesterday at about plus 350. So I'm cheering Zuma on there.
Ming Chung says he really likes HJK to win big. Tina Fuku, will there be a hole-in-one? I don't think there's been one yet. And I mean, from the par threes that I saw, certainly not today. None of the pin positions look good for it. But maybe there's somewhere on the greens where there's a nice bowl. I don't know what the odds are actually.
The weather's. The weather's got to play a factor, isn't it? If the weather's bad and it's windy and it's gusty and it's like there's less chance there being a hole-in-one where it's fair. I would probably say no. If the weather's bad, it's got to be a fact. It's got to be a no. Just to the other thing, obviously with the there's obviously more tennis in play now with Bet Rivers as well. There's matches in Avonia, Sarundalos on it. If you want to watch the tennis now, you can head across to the Bet Rivers website, get them in play as well on the tennis as we stand.
There's other tournaments to talk about, and I've got to be a little bit careful how I pronounce the name of this location. I was going to bring out my best Sean Bean impression here.
Borstad,
in Game of Thrones.
Borstad.
Really?
Borstad, yes.
Borstad. What a great name. Anyway, yeah, tomorrow's match is here in Sweden. I don't even know where Borstad is in Sweden. I know Sweden quite well, and I don't know where it is. I don't even know which part of Sweden. Anyway, Sebastian Baez against Luciano Darderi.
This is a real. It's quite a slow clay court, real slugging clay court. Weather's been in and out, lots of rain, so it makes it very, very heavy. Sebastian Baez is our pick to win the tournament. With Sean has gone for Sebastian Baez to win the tournament. Luciano told them, but these are two sluggers. I mean, you couldn't think of two players who are like they'll go at it and they'll grind each other out. I'd be amazed if this doesn't cover the over here. I think this is 22.5. It's a bit of a high number, usually 21.5 or 22.5, but 22.5. I think they'll just slug it out. Two very evenly matched men, as you can see from the betting there, minus 136 Tarderi, but Baez leads the head-to-head 5-2, and he has won the last 3 meetings between the two of them. And unlike a lot of head-to-heads, 6 of their last meetings have been in the last year, so they have recent head-to-head history. All of them, all bar one on clay, and Baez has been much, much better on the stats and much, much better. So I think as a dog, I think he's probably underrated here. I think Darderi may, I wouldn't bet Darderi was a -136 favourite. So Baez would be my lean on the money line, but I do think it'll be a slogfest and over 22.5. But we have 2 picks at Borstad. We had Sebastian Baez and we also had Jesper de Jong to win the tournament, and both of them through to the quarterfinals. So we've got de Jong going for us against us here. This is an all-Dutch affair between de Jong and Griekspoor. De Jong is an out-and-out clay court, really, and he did well at Wimbledon. He beat Kekmanovic, he beat Christopher Eubanks in round 1, which was a bit of a shock win, but he's a clay quarter. The slower the better. Talon Griekspoor wants it quicker. I think the court will suit de Jong here. I'm not really convinced about Griekspoor as a clay court player. They met once this year already in Montpellier. I was at the tournament. I was at the match, actually, and de Jong won 7-6, 6-4, and that was a quick indoor court, and de Jong got the better of him in what you would expect Griekspoor to be more comfortable in. So I think the dog's got a chance here at +133. I really like the 2.5 -132. I wouldn't be playing the over. I think 23.5 is a high number, but I would go for de Jong and Baez. But we're on both of those players to win the tournament. So anybody who watched Game Bet Match earlier in the week will know we've already got tickets on those. So if you want to go in again, I won't put you off. But if you are already involved, we might have 2 semi-finalists, which would be nice.
Yeah, that would be really good. Best of luck there with those outright futures. Analytics Kappa, it is right off the water. It does look a gorgeous place. The closest main city is Helsingborg, on the west coast there, southwest of Sweden. Do you know which famous Swedish striker started his career at Helsingborg?
Thomas Brolin.
Henrik Larsson.
Oh, I knew it was one of them. I was only
Brolin.
Well, he's Swedish, isn't he?
Yeah, former Leeds legend.
Yeah.
Did have an assist against Man United once. Didn't do much else. Okay, we've got matches also in Hamburg. All over the globe, aren't they, this week in the tennis world, Nigel?
Yeah, we're doing all right, actually, on a couple of outrights. So we've got Christian in Rome. We haven't got the Romanian matches there, but these are the 2 matches on offer tomorrow in Hamburg. And honestly, Steve, ignore these 2. Honestly, if you want to have a bet. But this Hamburg tournament and these women's tournaments this week were absolutely terrible. The tournament in Romania only had 3 players out of 32 that were ranked inside the top 100 at the start of the tournament. That's how bad it was.
It's like the week where everyone bad plays.
Yeah, I even got a wild card for the tour. I showed you how bad it is. But I mean, honestly, it's just. I put them up there just to really highlight how bad these matches are. Wasson is the girl that obviously made the semi-finals of the French Open. She did exceptionally well, but Tomova's a decent opponent here. I mean, I don't think that's going to be as easy as that would suggest. But she's obviously got some confidence after getting to the last 4 of her home slam. The top match, I wouldn't get involved in at all. But our outright picks is on this tournament. Yastremska was the pick that I liked here. We didn't have any odds, but she's got through to the quarterfinals. And our outright in Romania, Jacqueline Christian is through to the quarterfinals as well. So we've got 4 outright picks all through to the last 8. So hopefully we can have a good week on the tennis and get some outright snow. But I'd bet Rublev at +110 now. I think I think he should be minus money, and I'd give that go overs in the Shapovalov match, and then bet those 2 dogs over in Borstad.
Yeah, you certainly look like a man who is excited about the future's prospect for these tournaments. You've got plenty of runners and riders.
It's just sometimes it's how many times that we get to semi-finals and we get beaten with -$2. You know, we've had a few bad beats this year, but luck will turn. We haven't got the momentum yet, but we're definitely doing the right thing with the odds, and hopefully we'll cash some tickets, and our luck will turn into the American hardcourt campaign.
Yeah, I will ask you for your best bet today or tomorrow, based on what we've said there, Nigel, soon. But I'll just go through a couple of those conference plays that someone was asking me for. HJK for me, -1.5, all on the 3-way handicap is a very good bet. The Pyunik game for me over 9.5 corners. Borac, Banja, Luka to win. And then the other Conference League games, I go Klaksvik on the money line. Just keep it simple. With a lean towards Sutjeska money line, also Petroclub on the money line as well there. It's sort of like the bad teams coming out in the soccer world as well as the tennis world this week, Nigel. So what would your best bet be?
I think my best bet tonight would be in Los Cabos in the first match on court, which is 9 o'clock local time in America. It's Tristan Schoolkate, a very big serving American. up against Denis Shapovalov, and I'm going to go for set one over 9.5 games at -129. But I would be inclined to move the toggle up on the BetRivers website and play over 10.5 at +235. And I may even ladder it and go over 12.5, so a tie-break in set one at $4. I think there's quite a quick surface. The weather's warm and hot. The ball will be flying around. Schoolkate is a big server, and Shapovalov, when he's out of his game, he's also a big server as well. I think it'd be a tight first set. So over 9.5 official, my best bet. And if you want to go for a bigger price, go 10.5 and 12.5 and try and hit the lot with a tie-break in set number one. Schoolkate against Shapovalov.
Yeah, we love ladders here on Betting Weekly Live. I think it's the first time on a same show with you that you brought your ladder out. So I like it. I really like it.
I've never been up a ladder in my life. These hands have never done any manual. Never.
Don't want dizzy heights, do you? Going too high on these ladders. But you can watch the ATP Los Cabos matches on the BetRivers website and app, along with the 23 Conference League games today, the 8 Europa League matches as well. And do remember the Open Championship special boost that you can have. Live bets on the Open Championship, you might get up to a 50% profit boost on your BetRivers account. The Conference League matches are going to get into full swing very, very soon. I think there is one match already live. Anyway, head to the BetRivers app or website for that. It's 2-2 actually at half time here. Match between Daugava Pils of Latvia and Veleziania of Albania.
Daugava Pils sound like the beer I was drinking in the Czech Republic.
I'm sure they're sinking if you were ever there. That would have been a good bet, wouldn't it?
Pils.
Over 3.5 in the first half. That would have been a good bet there. But best of luck, everyone, whatever you are taking tomorrow.
Just one thing before we go, Steve.
Yes.
This is the first time I've done this show with you for a while, and it's late. And I haven't been on Betting Weekly Live a lot recently, obviously with the off season of soccer. But amazing to see so many new people in the group.
Oh yes,
there's so many new people, and obviously you're all welcome. And keep the comments coming. Let us know what you think. Cash some tickets together, and welcome along to the fastest growing sports betting YouTube community. Well done.
Absolutely, yeah. There's so many, and I can't get through them all every day now, Nigel. There's that many. Just one question there before we go from A, the mysterious A as we call him. Aleksandar over game to go under 18.5.
Let me have a look. I can't remember who she's playing, actually, to be fair. You've caught me on the spot there. It's
this is what A tends to do. He's
18.5 is no. I'd say no.
There you go.
No, Aleksandar over. She had a decent win in the first round against Veda, but she's nothing special. 6-love, 6-3. No. Good luck with that, but I'm going to go no.
Remember to gamble responsibly, whatever you are taking today in the sports betting world. I'll be back tomorrow on Betting Weekly Live. I think Lewis Jones is going to be with me, Nigel.
Yes.
So we're going to look at the Spain game in the Euros. I'll probably quiz Lewis on some early futures as well for the Premier League and stuff like that. Real Brennan King, always good to see you as well. And yeah, until next time, Nigel, thank you very much. Enjoyed return with you on Betting Weekly Live.
Well done, man. Loved it. Take care.
Yeah, loved it. Take care, everyone. See you next time on a Betting Weekly Live.